Maybe it's the overheated cable TV environment, or maybe there's something in the water at Rockefeller Center. Whatever the cause, MSNBC seems to have a civility issue, and a recent meltdown by Martin Bashir may be the worst example yet. Adam Reilly has more.
Last Friday on this broadcast, I made some comments which were deeply offensive.
MSNBC's Martin Bashir was in full contrition mode this week, apologizing to Sarah Palin like his job hung in the balance.
I have learned a sober lesson in these last few days, that the politics of vitriol and destruction is a miserable place to be.
Earlier this month, Palin had raised eyebrows by comparing the national debt to slavery.
And this isn't racist, so yeah, try it anyway. This isn't racist, but it's going to be like slavery when that note is due, right?
That outraged Bashir, who called Palin a world-class idiot and cited the diary of slave overseer Thomas Thistlewood to make his case.
A slave named Darby catched eating canes, had him well flogged and pickled, then made Hector, another slave, S-H-I-T, in his mouth.
And then Bashir added this:
that if anyone truly qualified for a dose of discipline from Thomas Thistlewood, then she would be the outstanding candidate.
In conservative quarters, the response was searing.
This was a scripted piece in the teleprompter.
The rhetoric of the left has become vile, despicable, disgusting.
But Bashir is still on the air. That's surprising, because when Ed Schultz called Laura Ingraham a right-wing slut, MSNBC suspended him for a week. More recently, the network suspended Alec Baldwin for flinging an anti-gay slur at a paparazzo. So what makes Bashir different? So far, MSNBC isn't commenting.
I was surprised they suspended Alec Baldwin. I mean, it wasn't on television. It was caught on camera, but as for the Martin Bashir thing, as Howie Kurtz said, it was a packaged, other people saw it, which means it wasn't just him off the cuff spewing something. So there are editors involved, there are show producers involved, and they've got to be looking at this a little bit more seriously, don't you think?
Well, maybe that's why he didn't get suspended. Maybe they're looking at suspending about 6 or 7 people if they're going to suspend him. You know, what I found really, really shocking about this was to learn that Martin Bashir has a show on MSNBC. I had absolutely no idea.
I didn't either.
Wasn't he the host of that Michael Jackson thing some years ago?
He was on Nightline, though.
Oh, no, I realize it. You know, I think the problem with MSNBC, unfortunately, is that they're hiring third-rate people. And third-rate people don't know how to get their point across without going way over the line. And they're doing it over and over. They're also mocking people who... The way to mock them is the way Comedy Central mocks them, frankly. I mean, when you get all serious about ridiculous things that Sarah Palin says, you're going to end up making a mistake like this. I mean, just have some fun with it.
Howie?
Fun? I mean, first of all, what angers me most about this is that what she said gets subsumed now in the controversy about what he said, which was disgusting. I'm familiar with this diary, however, so it's not the first time. I'm sure for a lot of people it is, but I wasn't unfamiliar with it. Martin Bashir has a history, by the way, of saying outrageous things. He once had to apologize to the Asian American journalists because he made some really untoward comments, you know, at the dinner. I mean, this goes on and on. You can track it back. So they sort of know who they're getting when they put him in that chair, and that means there's further scrutiny. But to your point, the fact that so many people saw that, I hope that's the investigation. I hope that's what's going on behind the scenes. And I don't know what they do with him. With regard to Alec Baldwin, I think they're looking for an excuse to get rid of him, frankly. Oh, they put him on. They thought, this was a good idea. Then they thought, wait a minute, not so much. What I'm here, what we hear, trafficking and rumor, is that he's sort of hard to get along with. Yeah. The guy's a star, so he shows up when he shows up. Well, people have to work and put this stuff together. So that's hard on everybody, and this may be the exit plan that we'll give them.
He's good, though.
Well, but which is why they gave him a show. But if it's becoming so costly to the entire staff to make sure that he gets on the air, you have to look at that. And if you've signed a contract with him, maybe it's not so easy to get out. I don't know. I'm just speculating all over the place, and that's what I'm saying. And with Ed Schultz, by the way, Chris, what's his name? Hardball Matthews has said some off the wall stuff. I think both on in the platform of both an MSNBC and a Fox, you have a lot of room to expand from your original point and to underscore it. And oftentimes, you just lose your mind. That's what I think happens.
I think it's hard to put Alec Baldwin and Martin Bashir in the same discussion here. We have, but the question that came up for me was the same question that the Fox folks had in the intro that we had, and that's someone edited this. Yeah. Someone prepared this for him to read, and I'm just wondering, I mean, there's the person to fire.
Well, he might have written it, but somebody else edited it.
Yeah, and said it and all of that. There should certainly be somewhere along the way. That was, to use our favorite term this week, it was definitely, he went nuclear on that remark.
Yeah.
Well, the lack of cynicism of all of you is in a way quite touching and affecting, but I'm afraid it's incumbent on me to inject a note of cynicism here. This is exactly what MSNBC is all about. They were invisible, a good place to commit a murder, until they started amping this stuff up and hiring, as you put it, these third-rate talents, and clearly, either explicitly or implicitly, telling them to go get them. And that's what they're doing now. He goes over the line, he gets suspended, whatever the punishment is going to be. But that's how you get ratings. Look at Howard Stern. Look at Fox, which is maybe a little more adroit at not crossing that line. But there have been times when, unfortunately, I've stumbled on Sean Hannity and heard him say stuff that made me want to gag. So this is the way it is in this marketplace right now, and that's why they're doing it.
Yeah, but MSNBC has taken action against people in the past. I believe they're the ones who took some action against Keith Olbermann. So
that strings out the attention getting, doesn't
it? Not an intense punishment, but he got reprimand.
Fox is much better at not apologizing. I mean, I think we could put together a top 10 from Fox that would match up with MSNBC any day.
That's why I don't watch cable talk.
I do.